fact, I always make a joke that I have this massive cloning machine in my basement. I got a bunch of me running around, which is why I do a lot of different things. So if you see another of me walking around, it looks like me, it might just be my clone. Go the other way, they might be a little nasty sometimes. We're going to talk about hiring today. And the reason we're going to talk about hiring today because a lot of businesses fail because of the structure of how they hire people and what they're trying to get them to accomplish. A lot of people ask me about hiring and who they should hire actually. And the reason why I'm speaking about this today is because I actually met someone who actually watched all our videos and he's like, when are you going to speak about hiring? So I told him, I'll do my best to get it out. So just so you guys should know, anybody watching, if you want us to discuss something related to business, you can reach out to us, send us an email specifically about what we can do regarding having a conversation regarding what you would like us to talk about. And if you send us an email, we will try to address it as best as we possibly can. With that being said, since someone who does watch this videos actually talk about hiring, one of the first hires that must be done in a company when you open up a company is something I call a clone of yourself or a duplicate, right? You need to hire someone who can do everything that you do as an owner, because what happens is when you hire your first employee for a job is that if you're going to hire an employee that's going to help you do and run the business, what's going to happen is that at that point, you are working for your business. Working for your business ain't good. You need to, instead of working for your business, you need to find a person who can help run the business on a day-to-day basis, and you go out and do sales, which is very important for you to do. So your first hiree very much should be a duplicate. In fact, I always make a joke that I have this massive cloning machine in my basement. I got a bunch of me running around, which is why I do a lot of different things. So if you see another of me walking around, it looks like me, it might just be my clone. Go the other way, they might be a little nasty sometimes. But in general, if you can find a way to generate a person that does the exact same thing that you can do in the company. Now, they may have different ambitions than you because they don't want to run their own company, but they have the ability to do the components that you need in your company. That is your first hire, and that is important for your first hire. Second person to hire is there a massive amount of administrative components in a project. Administrative components in a project is important to understand because they bog down your day-to-day operations. They eat up a lot of your time. Imagine sending invoices, tracking those things. And those employees in general are a little bit more accessible. You can get more, you can find them more easily than the first employee. And that second employee is very crucial to help you get your function of your business, the administrative components of your business, functioning and going, because you're going to bring in more projects. Someone's going to have to make sure the proposals go out. Someone's going to have to make sure that the invoices go out. Someone's going to have to make sure that someone's responding to emails. And public relations between you and your employees and with your clients are so important to keep them happy, that they know you're taking care of them is very, very important. And the reason this is so important to do this structure in this way, and I will tell you, this may be expensive. You may lose money on the first run. And the reason why you may lose money in your first run is because it's expensive to set up a project this way. And which is fine to set up this project this way, because if you don't set up a company this way, it will take much, much longer to grow. If you want to grow a company, you have to be willing to spend money properly. And spend money properly on that company is the reason why you need to be able to spend money on the company, is because you have to be working on the company versus for the company. And to make the company function without you is a key component for growth of a company. And the reason for that is because you need to be able to sell your company. Very, very important, sell your company. And the most, I've said this before and I'm going to repeat it again, and I will say it many more times. The best person to sell your company is you. You know your company best. You know your thing. And we're talking about small businesses. Obviously, as businesses grow and get bigger, things change, the structure changes, the people selling them changes, everything changes. But the facts are, the best salesman on a small company, when you're starting out, is you yourself. And you need to be able to have your company function without you to get it to work. Now, I will tell you, my cloning machine is not out for rent yet. If I get it, peak it right, maybe we can get them to actually start having a bunch of little other people running around. But for now, I just like my cloning machine in my basement. We'll keep it there. Don't tell anybody about it. It's our secret between us. And on the second note, and this is something that I want to point out, very important, is that the hiring structure that you do, and obviously I'm going to make a point, and maybe I'll talk about it more. AI is changing the landscape heavily, and AI is going to change the landscape periodically going forward. We're playing with AI now on doing certain things, but I could talk about AI at length, and we're going to talk about AI at length, but not this time. But AI is going to change that structure a little bit, because if you could do some of your administrative stuff and use AI to help you get your administrative components done, because it processes information at extreme speed, then yes, maybe you don't need that employee so fast. You can cut costs that way. But you do need someone who understands the ins and outs of your business so well that they literally could run the business instead of you. And that is very, very important, because what that gives you is the ability to know that your company is being functioned properly. And that employee needs to be paid well. They need to be comfortable. They need to be happy. They need to run your business. And if you can let them run your business, you can grow your business. And the two different components of growth and running a business is what makes a perfect business model. And that is important. That is the most important part. As you start a business and your first hirees, that's the most important. With that, please subscribe. And as well, I will reiterate, if you want us to talk about something and discuss something specific, please send us a message, and we will do our best to, if we don't know about the topic, research a topic and talk about it. If we do know about the topic, we might make something up about it just because we're like doing that. Or we might actually know what we're talking about. With that, please subscribe.